So, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us this week's discussion. Um, I'm happy to present the topic of smart holiday eating, enjoy the feast, and keep the balance. Today, we will discuss some of the challenges that arise that may prevent us from following our usual healthy routine during the holidays, mindful eating techniques that we can implement and incorporate to help overcome those challenges. Also, take a look at how social and emotional eating impacts our choices. We'll also focus on how to balance our plates, some healthy swaps we can make, tips on how to choose the best choices while at parties and buffets, as well as beverage choices, staying active and managing chronic diseases during the holidays, and lastly, tips on post holiday meals. Did you know on average, Americans gain 2 to 5 pounds during the holidays? Most of the holiday functions are centered around food, and not only at home, but at work, social organizations, and church functions. Usually these foods are higher in fats, added sugars, and sodium. So one of the biggest challenges is that we're always typically around food. Next, changes in schedules and travel plans can also disrupt usual eating habits as well as exercise routines. Many of us have traditional holiday foods, like the ones that we kind of put in the chat that we're greatly looking forward to. They remind us of our childhood, but may also not be the healthiest option. Changing these traditions and recipes can be difficult, especially with some of our older family members. So again, we're focused on these foods that we love, but we know as we've aged and grown and educated ourselves may not be the healthiest option. And on the other end, we may get that resistance from family members to kind of change those recipes. Another challenge is eating in large settings that can lead us to saying yes to items we would usually say no to otherwise. Feeling a social pressure to either fit in or not want to hurt anyone's feelings can be a barrier to healthy eating during the holidays. Next, oftentimes healthier options may just not be available, or if they are present, may be in smaller quantities and not often refill when finished. This can lead guests to consuming other less healthy options in bigger quantities. Lastly, self service. Many parties or dinners are served buffet or family style, where guests are encouraged to get how much they want, when they want. So, this can also lead to overpiling of plates and hence overeating. Again, this can be coupled with social pressure, as one may not want to seem like the outsider with very little on their plate. Now that we recognize there may be challenges that present themselves in the holidays, we can look at techniques that can help us become more mindful of our eating habits and the choices that are made. First, stay focused and try not to multitask. Another tip is to sit and not stand and talk while eating. This will help identify your hunger cues and feelings of fullness so that you don't overeat. Second, choosing a smaller plate should naturally limit portion sizes and calorie consumption. However, the key is to not pile it high, but to only fit food that easily covers the bottom of the plate. Next, stay hydrated. Oftentimes, thirst can be misconstrued for hunger. So be sure to stay hydrated with water throughout the day, which will not only help control appetite, but also aid in digestion of food. I always hear people say, I'm saving my calories and appetite for dinner, meaning that we'll skip the meals and snacks until the featured meal is ready. This can lead to intense hunger, which may lead to irrational food choices later in the day and overeating. Also, if you're on medication, it's also important not to skip meals as it can interfere with absorption of the medication. Holiday eating is often influenced by social and emotional factors, which can affect how much and what people eat. Typically, we are not self aware of some of the triggers, so it's important to help identify those before the holidays get into full swing. First, emotional triggers. Although it may seem as if the year flew by, there is still so much that has happened that has left some of us triggered. Plus, the holidays can be stressful itself due to finances, the anxiety of family gatherings, and even the grief of not having a loved one present anymore at the table. These can all lead to unconscious overeating. Next, feelings of guilt and obligations can also influence emotional eating. No one wants to be rude to the host or seem ungrateful or bypass an invitation to a party. So, this can prompt people to eat out of etiquette rather than hunger. Food as a reward. I've heard people say calories don't count during the holidays. Didn't want to be the bearer of bad news, but those calories actually do count. Using food as a reward for making it through a tough year or because it's the holidays can also lead to overindulgence and shift your already healthy eating pattern. So, balancing your plate. Even though there may be a lot of temptations present, we still can focus on choosing food options that will help us build a better plate. First, you want to start with filling your plate with non starchy vegetables such as kale, collard greens, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, green beans, or even a mixed salad. These vegetables are low in calories and high in fiber, which helps you feel full and satisfied while providing essential nutrients. Next, focus on adding wholesome protein to 1/4 of your plate. Beans, lentils, fish, lean turkey, and others are great options. Protein is important for satiety and maintaining muscle health. The remaining 1/4 of your plate should be dedicated to healthy carbohydrates. Whole grains such as sweet potatoes, brown rice, whole grain bread, or even you can offer low glycemic fruits. Whole grains and healthier starches help provide energy and fiber, which can help with digestion and prevent blood sugar spikes. Lastly, we can't forget about the benefits of healthy fats, such as olive oil, avocados, and nuts, which can be seamlessly added to most dishes and foods. Making simple swaps can also help fight weight gain during the holidays. For instance, for baking, simply cut back on the sugar. You can reduce sugar in most recipes by about 25% without a noticeable difference in taste. For example, if a recipe calls for 4 tablespoons of sugar, reduce that amount to 3 tablespoons. Or you can always add with the lowest amount, taste, and add more. A lot of times we blindly add a lot of the salt, the sugars, and the fat without really tasting to see where we are. You can also try a whole grain flour. In most recipes, you can substitute white whole wheat flour for all purpose flour. Whole wheat flour contains 15% more protein than all purpose flour and boasts fiber, vitamins, and minerals. Another switch is to use applesauce instead of using oil. By this, you can cut calories while still preserving taste and texture by swapping half the oil in a recipe for an unsweetened applesauce. For example, if a recipe calls for 1 cup of oil, use a half cup of oil and half cup of applesauce. For every half cup of oil replaced with applesauce, you can save a few hundred calories. For dessert swaps, swap pumpkin or sweet potato pie for pecan pie. A slice of traditional pecan pie delivers as much as 40 grams of added sugar, which is 80% of the USDA's recommended daily limit for a 2,000 calorie diet. Swap pumpkin or sweet potato for pecan to cut back on added sugar by 50%. These items also provide a rich source of beta carotene, vitamin E, and iron, and can help boost your immune system through the winter cold and flu seasons. Use dark chocolate for milk or white chocolate. Dark chocolate is one of the best anti-inflammatory foods around and provides a good source of magnesium, copper, zinc, and phosphorus. Choose dark chocolate with 70% cocoa or higher for 2 to 3 times the antioxidants found in milk chocolate. White chocolate contains no cocoa and lacks the beneficial properties of a dark chocolate. So for my chocolate fans, I saw fudge and brownies. Dark chocolate still give you some health benefits. For your beverage swaps, consider almond milk eggnog. A standard carton of eggnog is packed with calories, saturated fat, and added sugars. Almond milk eggnog is considerably lighter with around 50 calories per serving, zero saturated fat, and a fewer than 10 grams of added sugar. If you love hot chocolate, but not the sugar and fat that comes with it, try chocolate peppermint tea. Hot chocolate is another holiday beverage, often loaded with added sugar. Add 1 teaspoon of baking cocoa to 12 ounces of hot peppermint tea for a healthy alternative. This minty chocolate drink has only 10 calories and provides 2 grams of fiber and a host of inflammation fighting antioxidants. For your dairy and egg swaps, choose egg whites instead of the entire egg. Egg whites can be used to replace whole eggs for breakfast and even your favorite baked sweets. Follow the instructions on your egg white carton to get the measurements just right. You'll knock out cholesterol and saturated fat from your dish in the process. Also, for recipes that call for sour cream, you can save yourself a few hundred calories per cup by using fat free plain yogurt instead. Typically, sour cream is used for texture, so the yogurt you do use the same thing without the fat. Lastly, the sodium is one item that can easily be overlooked. Instead of relying on salt or salt containing seasonings, reach for the powders such as onion or garlic powders, first fresh herbs such as rosemary or thyme, and also choose the low or reduced sodium options of canned vegetables, soups, and broths. Holiday parties are the belle of the ball and what most of us look forward to during the holidays. Here are some examples to make the event a bit healthier. First, skip the casseroles. And I didn't really want to put this on here because sweet potato casserole is my favorite, but I have to give y'all the truth. Casseroles are the very definition of comfort, but they're often loaded with sodium, heavy creams, butters, and cheese, all the good stuff. So instead, let the main ingredient go solo. So we have broccoli casseroles or green bean casseroles, sweet potato casseroles. So try just to use the vegetables itself. You can flavor them with lemon juice, pepper, olive oil, balsamic vinegar, or spices like curry or ginger. Next, although those sauces and gravies add a bit of extra flavor to our foods, they can add a lot of calories too, added sugars and sodium. But if you really can't live without your favorite holiday sauce or gravy, try to keep the portion size to a tablespoon or two. Or another tip is to put the sauce on the side and then dip your food. That's why that way you're not oversaturating your foods with the sauce or the gravy, which adds unintentional calories. Next, move your socializing away from the buffet tables or appetizer trays. How often are you sitting next to the buffet table or to the appetizer and you find yourself kind of grazing and not really being intentional or mindful how much you've eaten? It's because it's in sight, so it's in mind. So, old adage, out of sight, out of mind, move away from the food. Next, you can also bring a dish. When you bring a dish, you know that there will be at least one healthy option on the menu at the party. Plus, other party goers may be health conscious as well and appreciate the alternative dish. Are you sure you want seconds? To really know, wait 10 or 15 minutes before you go back for seconds. Take the time to really evaluate if you're really hungry or you're just bored before hitting the buffet table again. And lastly, have a snack or small meal before you go. If you are prone to overeating, snack on non starchy vegetables, whole grains paired with a high quality protein source to help fill you up and help you focus on making a healthier choices later on. Choosing healthier beverages during the holidays can help you enjoy festive drinks without excessive sugar or calories. Keep a cup of water or seltzer in your hand to sip on during the gathering. Staying hydrated can help curb hunger cravings, and holding a non alcoholic hydrating drink is a bonus because if your hands are full, you probably won't find yourself reaching for food as often. Some other good beverage choices include infused water, sparkling water with fruit or freshly squeezed fruit juice, low sugar added cider, mocktails such as a virgin mojito made with fresh herbs, fruit, and sparkling water. We talked about low sugar eggnog made with low fat dairy or plant based milk. That'll help cut down on the amount of calories and fat you consume as well. And if you're having a cocktail, choose lighter sources such as a wine spritzer. If you're going to have a mixed drink, try to use a low calorie mixer or forgo any added sweetener such as a simple sugar. Lastly, always still monitor the portion size and alternate each drink with an equal amount of water. Staying active during the holidays is a key. So if you're hosting or being hosted, your exercise schedule may need a few tweaks. Planning ahead and setting holiday workout goals can also be a way to ensure you remain on track. If you are headed out of town, research where the local gyms are, or look up at local trails or parks and other routes for walking or running in your destination city. This way, you're not only fitting in a daily workout, you're giving yourself a chance to take in some free sightseeing. Next, work out with your mobile device or tablet. Watching a workout video online is another great method, which can be especially helpful when you're traveling, staying in a hotel, or with friends. Use your favorite search engine or check with the App Store of your mobile device to find apps and videos that inspire you. I often have clients I refer to YouTube. YouTube has a host of videos. In addition, Gator Care also has some fun pre-recorded yoga and other workouts that you can also grab and watch as well. Keep your exercises short but sweet. Sometimes it's not that we don't want to exercise, we're just too busy during the holidays. We are juggling cooking, cleaning, family, fun, all of these activities. So we can't usually get our 30 to 60-minute session in. So instead of skipping the workout altogether, consider a 10 to 20-minute routine. Running, jogging, and walking are always good exercise to do in short bouts as our weight circuits for strength training. For the most bang for your buck, consider high intensity interval training, alternating between periods of maximum effort and short recovery. These condensed but intense workouts get your heart rate and metabolism revving to burn calories and fat. Next, exercise can be a family affair, and it's also a great time to make sure that all age ranges are getting the physical activity they need during the holidays. Finding fun games that require stretching or light jogging, such as dodgeball. Be careful with Nana though. Free tag, hide and seek, or even a little touch football. These can help ensure that everyone is burning off those calories by being competitive. Lastly, one of my favorites, and I'm not sure if this is anybody else's favorite, but deep cleaning the house can also be considered a workout. Think about the bending, the squatting, running up and down the stairs, the folding of laundry, putting away the laundry. All of that burns calories. So anything that gets our heart rate up and burns calories, we also consider exercise. Whether it's diabetes, hypertension, kidney disease, cancer, or arthritis, managing chronic conditions during the holidays can be challenging due to changes in routine, tempting foods, and increased stress. Here's how to effectively manage disease and maintain health during this festive season. One, knowing that some foods that are appropriate on your meal plan may not be available at gatherings. It's best to plan and prep your meals ahead of time so you're not going all day without eating, or on the other end, not overindulging in foods that may be harmful and detrimental in the short term. Monitor portion sizes by using smaller plates or food scales. Monitoring the amount of food consumed is important in managing blood sugar levels and blood pressure. Next, listen and observe any changes that may be occurring. If you're not feeling well or you have your numbers that have been up for 24 to 36 hours, contact your physician immediately. My favorite, put yourself first. If you're too tired to cook your specialty dish or not feeling well enough to take the long drive or plane ride, it is okay to say no. Practice saying no and be confident in it. Let's say it together. No. Overstressing your body can also have an effect on overall health. Also, be sure to get your sleep. Many studies show the relationship between quality and quantity of sleep as it relates to disease management. Be sure to stay on medication and infusion schedules. If you're on dialysis, it's imperative to speak with your doctor before skipping a day or changing your routine on your own accord. In addition, if you are traveling, be mindful of continuing to regularly check your blood pressure and glucose levels. You'll be surprised how significant shifts can occur in just a few days. Lastly, you're going to hear it again, move. It's always going to be a theme of overall health. Find the time to walk, stretch, or participate in any other physical activities during the holidays. Now, what about when the holidays are over? After enjoying holiday indulgences, it's important to get back on track with healthy habits to avoid prolonged effects on your health and wellness. One, avoid guilt and be kind to yourself. Continuing to have negative emotions can lead to continued stress eating even after the holidays. Even if you didn't follow your plan to a T, it's important to practice self compassion and set your focus on small, achievable changes moving forward. Next, get back to your regular eating and exercise schedule as soon as possible. Return to familiar habits can help you regain structure and consistency. Plan your meals, prep healthy snacks, and set workout times that you can commit to. Third, take inventory of your refrigerator and pantry and get rid of those heavily processed items that are full of added sugars, fats, and sodium, and replace those items with nutrient dense and whole foods such as vegetables, fruits, legumes, and nuts. Let's talk about dieting. Oftentimes, we want to get any weight gain off quickly as possible and may choose a diet that in the long term may not be beneficial. In the first few weeks of diet, which can include calorie counting, elimination of a food or food group, following a strict meal plan, fasting, etc., most people will experience weight loss. However, research shows that dieting generally doesn't lead to long-term weight loss. This is likely due to a range of factors. First, diets are hard to stick to. Restricting foods usually make you want them more, which is why most people fall off the wagon the first month or two. And even if you can endure to your diet, your body will resist weight loss. Our bodies view dieting as a form of starvation. As survival mechanism, our metabolism slows down and hormones that regulate appetite and satisfaction change. In addition, by removing whole macronutrients such as carbohydrates, protein, or fat, we're also removing essential nutrients, vitamins, and minerals that help keep our body overall healthy. Save yourself the hassle, dish dieting, and instead adopt a range of simple, everyday healthy habits. Next, while the holidays offer some the luxury of ample time to rest, relax, and indulge in extended sleep, for others, it may involve sacrificing that sleep for social engagement and hosting. However, neither option is ideal in the long term. On one hand, excessive sleep can leave you feeling lethargic, while insufficient rest can compromise your immunity, productivity, gut health, and mood. Striking a balance and ensuring you can get the right amount of sleep is crucial for maintaining overall health and happiness. Good quality sleep has potential to enhance your mood, exercise performance, gut health, metabolism, and boost your immune system. Aim for 6 to 9 hours of quality sleep every night. Everyone needs maybe slightly different, but always know how your body's feeling. Lastly, drink more water. Water is such an underrated aspect of a healthy lifestyle. It won't come as a surprise that water keeps you hydrated, but it also regulates your body temperature, lubricates joints, carries oxygen and nutrients to cells, and can help us prevent constipation. Although the conventional wisdom suggests the need for 8 glasses of water a day, the actual requirement varies significantly from person to person. It depends on a number of factors such as age, gender, height, weight. exercise routine, your body temperature, outside temperature, and diet, and also medications as well. There has been a lot of information shared about how to stay healthy during the holidays. However, it is only a few days, so take the time to focus on connecting or reconnecting with family and friends. Be grateful for the blessings the year has brought. There is even room for gratitude for things that were not so good because there is something to be found in every lesson. Lastly, take the time to relax. You deserve it. Set and stick to your boundaries so the holidays can be peaceful for you. So let's recap a few points to make our holidays healthy. Plan balanced meals, prioritize nutrient-rich foods, filling your plate with vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains to balance indulgent holiday dishes. Practice mindful eating, eat slowly, enjoy the flavors, and listen to your body's hunger and fullness cues to avoid overeating. Stay hydrated. Drink plenty of water throughout the day to support digestion and reduce unnecessary snacking. Limit sugary and high calorie drinks. Choose water, herbal teas, or low sugar drinks instead of high calorie beverages like soda and sugary cocktails. Manage your portion sizes. We talked about using a smaller plate and serve smaller portions to enjoy a variety of foods without going overboard. Plan for disease management, stick to your medication schedule, prepare for dietary needs, and communicate with family and friends to maintain health while enjoying festivities. Enjoy but limit your treats. Choose your treats wisely, but still focus on portion sizes. Prioritize sleep. Ensure you get 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night to help regulate appetite, energy, and stress level. Again, set your boundaries and practice your no. Remember, stress can also have an impact on weight and overall health. And you know what the last one was going to be? Move. Ensure that you are getting quality minutes of vigorous exercise during most of the holidays. I thank you for joining me this week. I hope you have learned something new, enjoyed the conversation. For Gator Care members, we offer free nutrition counseling. So if you would like an appointment with myself, we can talk about anything. I create meal plans, we talk about disease management, or just a review of how you're eating. I have a lot of clients just want to be sure that the diet that they're following is just healthy and happy for them. I do review those things too. So please, if you would like, Gator Care members, feel free to scan the QR code. If this QR code does not work, you can find me in the directory, Dana Gardner, Gardner, at Dana.Gardner at jax.ufl.edu. It was a pleasure, and I hope you all enjoyed.
Thank you so much, Dana. That was great. That was a lot of really useful information. Before we jump into a brief Q&A, I'm just going to go ahead and drop a survey link in the chat here. Give me one moment. And if you guys, anybody who's on here, if you wouldn't mind filling out our survey, letting us know what you liked, what you didn't like about our webinar today, it just helps us um, reevaluate our wellness and work-life initiatives to make sure that we're giving you things that you want and need. Um, Now, as for Q&A, I think I've only seen one question pop up, and is drinking flavored sparkling water just as effective, for an example like LaCroix?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
On the right track, Alicia.
Are there any more questions? Anybody want to drop anything in the chat?
I see Barbara, her takeaway substitute pumpkin pie for higher calorie, higher sugar desserts. Yep. Socialize away from the table. Be intentional to get active with family and friends. Shed the guilt. I think that's like the biggest one for me as well. Sleep well and remain hydrated. Avoid the yo-yo. Aim for healthy and realistic changes and healthy habits. Thank you, Barbara.
For
Thank you.
sure. And then Gail asks, do you have any tips for dealing with the sugar pushers?
Oh, so I the one thing I tell people is it is really to practice your no. It is really to set your boundaries. If you're going to a place you always kind of go to and you're comfortable with that person, having a conversation offline before you get to the event so it does you don't feel like we said we're eating out of etiquette versus, our health, having that conversation beforehand. The opposite end would be, like we said, to bring your own dish. If you make an excellent dessert or you want to take some of those sugar swaps that we talked about and bring your own dessert, that may be one thing to maybe offer to do that for the sugar push. It's like, hey, you know what? I have a great recipe. Don't tell them it's low sugar and things like that. Hey, I'm going to bring it. So again, that way you know exactly what was in there, and you're really adding to the party as well. But yeah, pushers are they're hard. You almost have to just say no. But yeah, those are kind of some tips to do, having that conversation beforehand, about, your health journey that you're on, and it's not being rude when you say no to it. It's just saying no to the sugar is saying yes to you. So think about it that way.